Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're diving into the topic that affects almost everyone at some point in your life, right? Renting versus buying a home. Now, I know it's a big decision and one that can have significant impact on your financial future in your life. Currently, there is an affordability crisis in America. Average mortgage payments have nearly doubled in the last 4 years, making it significantly more expensive to own a home compared to, 8 years ago. This has led to a historic low in housing affordability, making it difficult for many people to afford a home, especially in the really high cost areas like big cities like Chicago, New York, San Francisco. You might ask, what is the average income requirement to buy a home today? Well, glad you asked. We have that information for you. To put this into perspective, the average income required to afford a median priced home, just median, not low or high, in the United States is around $110,871 a year you need to make. This would be a home priced around $402,000. Now, for many people, this is simply out of reach. Even with a stable job and really good income, you're not going to be able to afford that. Now, I know there's cheaper homes out there, but that was the median price that we had looked up. Next, we're going to discuss the down payment. So one of the biggest upfront costs for home ownership is going to be your down payment. Most lenders require a down payment between anywhere from 3% to 20%, depending on what type of loan you're getting. And that's going to be of the purchase price. So this means, let's say you're buying a $400,000 home. You'll need to come up with anywhere between $12,000 and $80,000. Okay, so next we're going to talk about mortgage interest rates. Interest rates are at the highest level in over 25 years. They're hovering around 7%. This means you'll be paying a lot of interest on that mortgage over the life of the loan with it being so high. Just think, only 4, 5, 6 years ago, the interest rate was around 3.5, 4%. Now, don't forget, when buying a home, you're going to have additional costs. In addition to the down payment and the mortgage interest, there are several other costs associated with home ownership. First one, private mortgage insurance, or PMI. If you make a down payment of less than 20%, you're likely going to be required to pay PMI. Now, this is an insurance premium that protects the lender in case you default on your loan. Next, you have property taxes. Property taxes vary widely by location, but they can be a significant expense, especially in high-cost areas. My taxes where I live are pretty high. Then I have rental properties that the taxes are not so high. But thankfully, the government came through for us, and all my properties doubled in taxes the last couple of years. So good for me. I'm paying a ton more money in taxes. You also have homeowners insurance. This insurance covers your home and its contents in case of damage or loss. And then the last thing most people overlook is maintenance repairs. So owning a home is a large responsibility, and you have to maintain and repair it. This will include costs like landscaping, plumbing, electrical work, and anything else that goes wrong in your house. Next, let's break down the typical costs associated with owning a home compared to renting. Owning a home. If you're considering buying a $400,000 home, which is the number we're going to use, we're going to give you some rough estimates of the monthly costs you can expect. Okay, you're going to have the mortgage payment. Approximately about $2,568 per month you're going to have to pay for that, assuming you have a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Your property taxes are going to be around $600 per month, depending on your location and property value. Homeowners insurance, approximately $150 per month. Maintenance repairs, we're going to calculate a monthly budget of $100. Private mortgage insurance, we're going to say that's $120 a month. Then, if you live in a neighborhood that has HOA, homeowners associations, which I do not have one, thank goodness, you got to take that into consideration. And I'm not sure how much those cost, but it's going to cost you. So, your total monthly cost, adding these up, you can expect to spend around $3,538 per month on your home ownership expenses. Next, let's look at renting instead of buying a home, that same home that we just talked about. If we compare renting a similar home in many areas, you could find a comparable rental for around $2,500 per month or $2,400 per month. Somewhere in there, I mean, it may fluctuate depending on where you live, but that's the average. So let's check out the financial savings. By renting, you could potentially save $1,138 on $2,400 rent per month. Over the course of a year, that translates into $13,656 in savings. Home appreciation versus investment return. So let's look at these options. Option one, if you buy a home with 20% down, so let's say the price is $400,000, the down payment with that 20% of the $400,000 will be $80,000. And then we'll just say the expected home value growth is 3% per year. Now, we'll look at option two. Instead of buying, you're going to rent and invest the down payment money. So the initial investment would have been $80,000 on a $400,000 house, and your expected return is 7% per year in the stock market. Now, if we compare those two together and look at the results after 15 years, your home value would have increased to about $580,000. Your equity in that home is roughly around $346,000. Now, if we look at the investment value, if you just invested the $80,000 after 15 years, that would have grown to $227,915. If we look at the investment value of the $80,000 plus the $1,138, if you invested on top of the $80,000, the $1,138 you saved on the mortgage, you'll get $588,618. Investing in this scenario, you would have $242,462 more by doing the investing and renting scenario instead of going and buying a home. Now, in this example, investing the down payment in stocks and bonds could potentially lead to much higher financial return compared to owning a home. However, you have to remember this. Investing involves risk. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. If the stock tanks or you do not get 7%, then the numbers would be obviously different than what we said. And I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just giving you my opinion and laying out scenarios. Another thing you can do is you could go buy a house with 3.5% down, FHA, first time, and then still invest. So if you did have $80,000, let's say you had 20% of $400,000, you could, like I said, just take 3.5% of that, put it down, take the rest of it and invest. That would be $66,000 that you could go invest. Now, you need to do your own calculations and weigh your risk and what, when you're deciding which path is the best one for you to take. I personally bought a house and I'll have it paid off in a few months, and I'm very happy with owning. And when I retire, I will only owe taxes and insurance every month. That mortgage payment goes away. So you might be saying to yourself, okay, why rent? Well, one key factor is that renting is cheaper than buying in the short term because you don't need a large down payment. So any house you buy, you're going to have a lot of money down, even if you do 3.5%. This makes renting more accessible for those who may not have significant savings. Additionally, owning a home involves more commitment in terms of finances, time, and labor compared to renting. Home ownership is an investment, and like all investments, it can go up and down in value over time, depending on what's going on in the market. There are several other benefits to renting. Maintenance costs. So if you don't know how to maintenance thing, Hey, have the landlord do it, right? That's why you rent. You don't have the repair bills. You won't, access to amenities. So when renting, you'll have access to other things. Sometimes they have on-site gyms, pools. You don't have real estate taxes. And then you just can relocate whenever you want to. Now, long-term ownership benefits. Let's look at that. You've got fixed costs. Owning provides predictable monthly costs once the mortgage is locked in. So you do want a locked-in mortgage. You don't want a variable rate one. You've got that emotional satisfaction. Home ownership can provide a sense of stability and pride that you own something. And then once you pay it off, you only have to pay taxes and insurance. So no more mortgage payment, especially when you get into retirement age. Now, my thoughts on the current market dynamics. The disparity between renting and buying has widened, making renting a really attractive option for most people, unless you really want to buy a home or you can afford to buy a home. I personally like owning my home, and paying it off is even better, especially when getting to that retirement age like we talked about. I don't have that large debt looming over me. That is one big downside to renting. You never pay anything off. So when your income drops at retirement, you're still going to be paying rent. When I paid off my home, and now I'm going to have it much cheaper in my retirement age. Hope you found this video helpful. Give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe for more videos on wealth building, real estate investing, and making money. Let us know your thoughts in the comments.